Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? I hope today is a smooth sailing show, especially given last week we had some technical issue. You guys, I'm trying to put my volume up so you guys can hear me. Um, I hope everything will be well tonight. Tonight's show is a little different from our typical show. Y'all, sorry. I'm gonna mute myself really quickly. So that I I'm still mute. Hi guys, how are you? I miss you guys. I've been super busy this week. This week was a little bit too much going on. So you don't see me too much online running my mouth. But I'm here. Yeah, sorry. Let me fix myself. I think I look much better now. Looking good as a business, so y'all don't come for me. I ain't coming okay. You guys look back there. My kids made me some stuff for this whole time since they've been in school. It's been fun getting all these goodies. Did you see my wall of fame for them? I have a whole wall for them. But anyways, I apologize. I'm late and then now I'm coming to run my mouth. We should jump into it tonight. Tonight's show is a little different, but this is what originally this podcast was supposed to be about. This podcast was to help our community talk about, how you can ace that job that you want, like the interview, and give you tips why you shouldn't stay 100 years on the job. Like, come on, we don't care about pension anymore. This is Gen Z and millennials. Like, we don't care. Okay, all we care about making our all of our money right now, and we will figure out how to save it and set for our retirement. We are not we're not slaving for any organization for 100 years, all in the name of when I retire, I get this, I get that. Like, we don't care. We do not care anymore. Okay. We are millennials. Same way when it comes to relationship. I know I preach on here. Don't get me started. I am a conservative Christian woman, and I do believe in the the what is it called? I'm about to run my mouth. I don't even remember. I believe in um traditional marriage. I believe in that, but I also believe in um we're not living in 19, I don't know how we call it, 19 will we? Like, we're not stuck here. If there is a need for me to walk out, I'm walking out. Sorry. Let God judge me. But of course, we're going to try everything possible to make sure it works. Exhaust all of your options before you do that. But with that being said, welcome to Let's Talk with Miss V. My name is Felicia. I'm super excited for this topic tonight because this is my thing. This is what I like. This is what I like to talk about. And I was like, yay. Somebody suggested this topic tonight. Awesome. Let's dive into it. So, welcome. If you're new here, welcome to Let's Talk with Miss V. My name is Felicia. I am your host. We typically come here every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, around this time, and I'm super late. So, I apologize. But my excuse, I am a mommy with two children under the age of 6. So bear with me. When you see me, it should be a hallelujah. You know what? Yesterday I felt like coming live, but I got super exhausted. I was so tired. I just fell asleep. But anyways, welcome. You guys, we're winding down to the end of the year. This year is a mixed emotion for me this year. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I can't really say the year was horrible. I can't say it was great. It was a mixed feeling year. It started out amazing, and then somewhere along the line in the middle, it got blurry. And but we're here. We are here, okay? That's what matters. We're here. So welcome. Winnie is coming on. Yeah. I need to set up this thing that go. I have it though, but to set everything up, I'm so lazy. I need to set it up every time somebody comes on and go, yeah, Jimmy is on. Let's get the crowd.
I'll be back shortly. I gotta go out quick.
Okay, okay. All right. All right, guys. So let me pin the link in the comment section. Now, this topic is definitely my thing. I like this type of topic. Not that I don't like all the other topics, but I like giving people tips, things that helps, things that work. Because I am usually on the other side of things. And recently I found myself on the other side of things. But we're not talking about me. We're going to get to this meat and greedy of this topic tonight. I hope you guys had a really great week. If you didn't, don't worry. You have tomorrow, you have other days. You just got to pray that God sustain you to make it to that other day. Hold on, guys. I just got a message. All right. Sorry, guys. Personal stuff. I got a message about something that I needed to respond to. But hey, rich man, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, and you?
I'm good. Mommy story again.
Oh wow.
No, I mean like I'm late because I have mommy stories.
Oh, I know. You're fine.
Yeah. How was your week?
My week was fine. Busy, but thank God.
I know. Right here.
Hmm.
Good to have you on. Yeah, my week was super busy too. I usually try to come on the platform to post throughout the week so we can stay relevant in people's ears. But this week was too busy for me. um, so welcome everybody. So let's talk with Miss P. Tonight we're switching gear a little bit. Every night I know we usually talk about, relationships, everything falling on our relationships, family, and all of that. And I think this is part of that too. So this is a really good thing to get into. So if you have your friends, your family that, keep going for interview but can't land that job, this segment is for you. Like you need to come and watch because um I'm not an HR person, but I have been in management for about 10 plus years, and I've had little to mid-level management positions. I have um, had to recruit, have hire, listed requisitions, and all of that. So this is my thing I like to do. So you guys are welcome to tap into that tonight. Get to see a little side of what I do for living, mostly on the side of care. That's what I've been. That's the industry I've been in. And yeah, started as um, front office girl, worked my way up to management operation, worked my way up to director level as well. So you guys, you're welcome to get some of my little knowledge I have. But yeah, welcome to the show tonight. That's why I'm super excited. These things that we're going to talk about tonight is just from our perspective. Um, and some of it, it's going to be from actual facts, things that work and things that don't work. And you can check it out online if you want to. That's up to you. So tonight, we're talking about, you're qualified. You're qualified for the job. You've been trained, you've been in the industry for a while, and then boom, you're getting interviews, but you're not making it. Why? We're going to talk about that. Um, I think I share a little bit about this. I believe my first or second episode on this podcast, which was 2 years ago, was definitely on this topic, but it wasn't in depth like the way we're going to get into it today. So you guys are welcome. We got some business owners on here who will tell you what they look for and their organization. And then we got people who been in leadership, bro. And like I said, I've been in management for 10 plus years. So I've had my little share of here and there in different roles. And I've gotten to mid-level management. So at this point, I feel like I'm credible to kind of talk about this, but it's up to you, to each their own, if you want to take it or not, and everybody else on here. So, welcome to the show tonight. We're talking about um, getting like some of those mistakes that people make. They don't get the job that they want. Why great candidate fail interview, and how to fix it. I know you can find all this information on YouTube, but why not watch us? Come on, let's talk about it. Welcome, Richmond. Say hi to the people so we can get started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for honoring the invitation today and showing up to the show. We hope and pray that you get some wonderful knowledge that will help you to land that next role. Like she said, we are not HR personnel, but we can
Ooh, sorry.
because we've also tested it before. So I look forward to it. I'm Mr. Richmond, and welcome. We hope you enjoy the show today.
Thank you. Thank you. I need Anna on here because Anna got some really good experiences too. Let me see if I can get her on here. Um, uh, where is Anna? I haven't talked to her all day. Let's see. So I'm going to pin the link in the comment section and I'll introduce it and then we can get right into it. There's about we might have to do this topic like part one and part two. I'm thinking about it because depends how fast we go with everything. Um, but I have a few things that we're going to cover. I'm just going to do the intro. So many people lose opportunity not because they're unqualified, but because they cannot communicate their value clearly. Like if you can't communicate your value clearly, you're going to feel flat. From the moment you walk into that room, that's where it starts. That's how you're communicating your value. And people don't understand that. It's not, oh, I got to wear the best suit or whatsoever to look great. Yeah, you should look great. Your appearance should look great. But you're wearing a suit. Are you wearing your values? You have to wear it. You have to wear your values too. And then, today we're just going to talk about simple, practical interview strategies that will change your outcome. And if you don't believe us, just test it out. Test it out. Okay. So tonight we're going to focus on one, why qualified candidate fail interview, and then secondly, how to answer question effectively. We're going to talk about common questions and some answers to tell me about you. That is where everybody fails. They're not asking you to tell your life stories. They're telling you, like literally, when I say where your value, that's what that means. When they're asking you, tell me about you, they pretty much already know about you because your resume made it that far, but they want to see how you articulate that, whatever you wrote in there, if it's really you. So that's a do or die interview question that everybody fails. And right after that question, if you are very attentive, you can tell if the interviewer is really interested in you or not based on the follow-up questions that comes. So we're going to look at that. And then also another thing we're going to look at your mindset shifts. The mindset shifts is a really big deal in this process. um, and then practical preparation tips. You need to prepare before you go there. It's not just I call you, oh yeah, I read the job description, that's it. No, you need to prepare. It's like you're going to take an exam. You need to prepare because you don't know what's happening. That is the school of life when it comes to job interview. And then lastly, we're going to close. So those are the things we're going to do. Talk about practical preparation tips, mindset shifts, um, typical questions that will lend you the role or build more interest, and then how to answer the question effectively. Those are those things, and we're going to be diving in tonight. So, with that being said, welcome to the show. Let it begin. So, you guys need to share. I don't see nobody watching. What's going on? Did I not share this thing? Let me see. Let me check it out. We need to share. Oh, I didn't pin the link in the comment section. Let me pin it really quickly. So let me just get your just a little soundbite from you on Richmond, since it's just you and you. I'm trying to share this really quickly before we jump into it.
Okay, so, well, I have pretty much done several interviews in the past 1 month, so I can pretty much attest to it. Yes, the first thing an interviewer they will look at your demeanor, they will look at how you carry yourself. Just from you walking into that door, all eyes is already on you. Camera is already on you. Your posture, they can pretty much sense if you're scared and if you know what you're talking about. But also, that's tell me about yourself. When they're telling you to tell them about yourself, they're not saying give them your life history. What they are really trying to figure out is what exactly in your previous jobs makes you qualified for this position. Start from the last job that you did or the previous ones, the experiences, how we transitioned from that to the next job, to the very last job that you just had. Or if you're still in that job, then you tell them what exactly you were doing in that job that makes you qualified to handle that role. So that's what they usually expect. They don't need you to tell them the whole life history, but then they also need it to be brief. Because the mistakes that I've made is even when telling them those job things that I've done before, I overextend myself as well. I overtalk. So make it brief because, like Fee said, it's already in your resume. So make it a lot shorter. And the funny part was the interview that I ended up excelling in was the one that I physically went there for. The ones I did over the internet, they really did not listen because they were not seeing my face. All they were seeing was they were just hearing my voice. So they are trying to use my voice to pick who they're talking to. And a lot of times, you got to make sure that you are direct to the point. Don't give extra information because it's unnecessary. So that's majority of the time where they catch people, because that first initial tell me about yourself is going to determine what direction that interview is going to go. And then also, a lot of times after they say, tell me about yourself, and then they start asking you questions, the way they need you to answer that question is in a STAR method. That STAR method basically talks about the situation, then it talks about the task, the action that you took to tackle whatever that task was, and then what the result was. Those are the 4 things that they are literally focusing on. Lots of times people don't realize it, but every single interview that you do, that is what they want to know. And so many questions that I've had them talk to me about always involves, what conflict have you had? They always ask me that question in every single interview. What conflict have you had with your previous person or co-worker or manager, and how did you resolve it? They always ask me that question. I've had over 10 interviews this past 2 weeks, and that exact same question has come up every time. They never miss it. It's as if they are picking their questions from the same question cheat sheet, and then they just throw it out there and ask. No matter what it is, whether it's an engineering job you're interviewing for, whatever, it's always going to circle around the same basic idea. They want to see how you handle conflicts. They want to see how you mitigate the risk, how you compose yourself, what leadership skills you possess, how you transmit information, your communication, both written and verbal. They want to know those informations too. But that tell me about yourself can pretty much help you excel in those questions if you just know how to do those, if you know how to structure yourself properly, and then you know how to do the initial STAR method. If you can do the STAR method and that, you will excel in it. But also prep yourself before the interview. If it means you're looking at a screen and looking at a mirror and asking yourself random questions, do that. It will help you. But also prep yourself. When you're done, make sure you have at least 5 questions to ask your interviewer.
Hold on. You're going too far. You're giving them too much right now. Tell them they need to come fish. These people need to come fish. They need to come
fish. You will fish it very well.
They need to come fish. They need to come fish. Thank you so much, Richmond. No. Great answers, though. Great information. I want them to come fish for the answer right now. So I'm sharing the show. Welcome back, Jimmy. So it looks like we're going to have, we need to do a part 2 of this thing. I don't know if we'll make it through all of it, but we will definitely, this is a really good topic to discuss. And I don't think it will do it justice if we rush through it. It's up to you guys. If we can knock everything out tonight, then we can. But I think if we really want the audience to take good stuff out of it, then we should, um, you know, to help them, if we can be as detailed as we can to be helpful for the audience, it would be nice. So thank you so much, Richmond, for that. You gave them a lot in like in no time. This is free content, y'all. Y'all are getting this. People are paid for this thing to be coached.
No kidding. No kidding.
People pay for this stuff to be coached. Y'all right here, we're about to give you some good stuff, and y'all playing game. Y'all better share the show. Y'all share the show and invite other people. But yeah, let's start with section 1. Section 1 is why quality candidates fail interview. Let's answer the why first, like, and then we can get to the need and greedy. Jimmy, you want to start?
I would, let Richmond go because he already started firing. So
okay. So I want us to set some credibility here. I want people to why should people listen to us about this topic specifically? What credibility do we have? So what is your line of work, Richmond?
Okay, my line of work, I'm an engineer. I am transitioning from the avionics engineering field. Previous job was project management, project engineering in avionics, and I'm transitioning into manufacturing and project management in in an industrial setup where they pretty much create buses, school buses.
We need to talk. I'm tapping into that a little bit lately.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Have you had a leadership role before, and how would you say you dealt with that?
Yeah, I have had multiple leadership roles, both in my avionics and my military career. So how I've dealt with it is when I first started, I pretty much messed up a lot. And I got to a point where I had to realize that even as a leader, you also have to learn to listen, and you also have to learn to follow, because leaders are not always right. We make mistakes too. So I got to the point where I had to tell my troops and those that I'm leading that, hey, I am not perfect, and I would expect that you would come to me as well and tell me when I'm doing something wrong, because that way I get to learn. You can also be my teacher, and that way we will both grow. I will help you grow, you will help me grow, and we'll both get to that finish line together. So that was how I pretty much handled it. And I used that same method in my regular job when I was working in Bowen, because that's where I used to be. I used to do the exact same thing. Everybody that I work hand in hand with, I was telling them the same thing. If I'm doing something wrong, please let me know, because you are considered as the core engineer. I'm here to also learn. So I take the initiative. I step out of my comfort zone, just like my commander did, where even though he's the commander of our unit, he still comes and does everything with the lowest ranking people on his line. It's the same thing I do. Even though I'm high up there, I still bring my ego down, and then I work with those that are on the lowest level. And it helped me grow as a leader, and I'm proud of it.
Lead by example.
Absolutely.
Right. That's nice. That's nice. So see, guys, I'm telling y'all getting some free knowledge over here. Y'all need to be paying. Y'all better visit our stars and cash. Let's let's hear from Jimmy. Jimmy, what's up, man? How
I'm
you
good.
sitting like that? How you sitting like that? So like you tired?
Yes, I am. But I'm here because the people got to hear what we got to say.
That's true. I
So,
appreciate
okay.
that. So tell the people then now, let's build some credibility because the topic here, it will say who I am for you to tell us.
Okay. So, well, I have a background in healthcare management, and I'm in leadership role. Currently working in the human services field. I interview people, and I had to get interviewed.
True.
So I know how candidates, respond to questions and the reason why you know, they are not preferred by, you know, the HR. And we are here tonight to just give the nuts and bolts of, those questions, how to respond to them, how to prepare yourself for the interview so that, you can become a top candidate when they do the listing. So I think we who have gone through stages of interview, you know, um, the last interview I sat, I think it was about 50 something people that applied, and they only needed two persons in a row. So the first one reduced the list to 25, the second one reduced it to 10, the third one reduced it to 5, you know, and the final one reduced it to 2. And I was
Was it a
fortunate to
group
be,
interview? Was it a group interview?
hell yeah, a panel.
I hate those ones. I hate group interviews. I
Yeah,
hate group interviews.
so
Like
so
I know
so
I mean like group interviews with like you and I competing for the same role. Like I hate those ones. I just want to just put the spotlight just on me so I can shine. But when there's
yeah,
multiple people sitting with you, like I don't know, I just feel like it's intimidating at times too.
no, so the way they did it, they didn't have everybody in the room.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, panel,
Yeah,
like
it'll
all
be
the
four
leadership.
people interviewing one person. You
Yes,
walk
Oh,
in
I
there,
like
you
those
have
ones.
several. You finish the first interview, then they'll call you to come back for a second interview, a different day, and a third interview. So some people end up going with about 4 interviews before they finally get the job.
yeah. So it's
That's
like
a lot.
I think they have about 53 persons that apply, and out of that list, they only needed two people.
Yeah, that's overwhelming. I hate when recruiters do that. I hate that.
Yeah, I'm like, at the end of the day, I was like, but why y'all have to put us through all this?
Yeah.
Just, just look at the resume, and pick the one that you got interest in. You know,
I wouldn't
Supposed
even
use
want
an AIS.
I wouldn't
You can use
accept
an
the offer
AIS
from an
system for that.
organization like that. Huh?
Normally, I thought they would have used an AI system to filter out the resume because when you put it online, AI automatically filters it out based off the job description, and then that's how you will now come close to even getting the rest of it going into the hands of the manager to even review it and decide who he wants to interview. So I'm
Some
surprised
people
you're
anyway,
don't
able
have
to
that
pick
services yet. Some people don't
anyway,
want to pay for
a-
it.
anyway, let's go into what we are. why we are here tonight.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
so mhm.
thank you
Go
so
ahead.
much, Jimmy. Jimmy and I have similar um, educational background. Um, I think I started with a show letting you guys know I've been in management for a little over 10 years. I started as a little yay, as a little front desk girl in college. Ended up getting my degree. Somebody took a chance on me and got me a little management job at a hospital. And then my goal was that chance to change it out of something big, and kept moving, worked my way up to mid senior level management. But throughout those role, I think even when I was just a front desk, I used to, like just do preliminary phone screening, and I really liked it. And so that's a little bit about us. Let's jump into the show. If you want to take our information tonight, it's up to you. Use it at your own risk. But it doesn't help to have a listening ears to people who are just here to help you out. So let's jump into it. Let's answer the why first before we jump into all these little tips. Why do you think qualify? I'm not just because everybody feels like they're qualified, right? Everybody that put an application in, they just feel like they're qualified. But it's not everybody qualified for all the jobs that they apply for. So tonight we want to focus on qualified candidates. Why do they fail to even is the interview? Why? What are some things we can share that a qualified interview person will feel?
Okay. Okay, I can go first. Um, one of the reasons is number one, your CV, how you structure your CV is very important. Nowadays, CVs are being updated every, I can say every 6 months or every year. They got different formats of it. And there's a difference between CV and resume. If a job requires a resume, you cannot submit a CV to that job. You know, if you require resume, you cannot submit a CV. So you have
Can
to
you tell
know.
them what a CV is and a resume is?
Okay, a resume has just your name and your contact information, and then your qualification, your experience, and all of that. In a CV, you will have your detail, like your name, your date of birth, your educational, your education background, your work experience, and a whole lot of stuff to go down. Okay, so that's the difference. If they request for the CV, submit a CV. If they request for a resume, submit a resume. All right. So that's one reason why sometimes you see people, they submit an application and
Oops, that's sorry.
they never get called back. You know, they never get a call back. All right. And there are some of them, they call them because they submitted a right resume or CV. And but sometimes the way you structure even your CV or your resume, the information you put in there, they did not sell you out to the employer. You see? So your CV or resume is your marketing department for yourself. It sells you out to people, you know. And sometimes a lot of people, when they read they just have this one CV already prepared. When they see a job, they just submit that CV. But no, every job require its own, resume or CV. Because the first thing you want, what most people don't do is that they don't go into the job description, and put some of the, the expectation of the employer into their CV or resume. And that's something that,
Can I add really quickly before you
yeah.
continue? Because I want while you're flowing along, just to add this in there. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, resume is typically 1 to 2 pages summary of your overall, right? Your
Yes.
CVs are usually used for like academic, scientific, like let's say medical stuff, medical position or graduate school, things like that. When you're applying for that, like they
Mm-hmm.
need a comprehensive information about your overall experience
Yes.
and skill set. So that's what you'll use a CV for, and then the resume will be like your that anything that don't fall under the other category. So I just wanted to add that in there. Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
pretty much like a bio, right?
Yes. For the
Yeah,
CV, it's like a
yeah.
bio.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you're in engineering, right, Richmond? So if you are applying for something like that, they need a comprehensive CV, for you because they need to know all your credential, everything you've been through, like,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
And
Gotcha.
also, how do you call it? When you are crafting your resume, the tab should just be 4 sentences at most. And those 4 sentences should be able to sell you enough to the people, you know? And then after that, there is something they call transferable skills. You have to include transferable skills into that resume. Transferable skills are those skills that you are coming with that will make or an instant impact into the on the position that you are applying for. For example, your transferable skill could be a good communicator, you know, good at multitasking, good listener, and all of that. Those are transferable skills. So those things should stand out in your resume to your employer. Okay. And then sometimes you put in your resume your your degree, your area of specialty, and what have you accomplished, with that, you know, uh degree. It's good for you to outline like your, you know. So those are reasons why more qualified candidates are not shortlisted, or even if they are called, their performance in the room. Your performance in the room is one thing to present a very good resume or CV, but it's another thing to defend that, which you have submitted. And if you can defend it up to the expectation of the employer or the HR, you will not be called. Yeah. So the lack of good performance in the interview room is the reason why more qualified candidates are not
Thank you.
shortlisted or are not called
Thank
or
you so
employed.
much. Thank you so much. I'm glad you brought up that differences between resume and CV because I think a lot of people don't know the differences. A lot of people.
Even me.
People just you didn't know?
No. I
Yeah.
told you the same thing.
Yeah, I thought it was
No.
the same because whenever I look at a job description, job thing, when I'm applying for it, it will state there CV/resume. So it's as
Yeah.
if it tells you you can put any of it. So I never
Yeah.
knew that there was a
Yeah.
difference in it.
Most healthcare, academic, um, like scientific, like if you're going to graduate school, you know, that whole process where you have to submit all these applications, they're asking for everything. Like they definitely ask for that for your CV. And then, but mostly everybody is just familiar with resume because that's what most jobs ask for. So nobody really pay attention to CV. I think I learned about CV later on, like when I was applying for graduate school. That's when I was researching. I was like, oh wow, I've been in the industry for such a long time. I didn't even know that CV was different from that. And then I was about to send my resume. That's how the formatting that I had, it said no, you need to submit a CV. And I had to hold up on the application, go back and redo my resume. But yeah, that's a very, very good point you put out there. So I hope people watch this thing. Y'all see, you're learning. Ah. So something I wanted you to
I will send
mention
my
was
invoice. I will send my invoice to Anna Enrichment.
I didn't
so
even.
something I wanted
I
you to
can't
add
even
is
send.
that grammatical error in most people's resume is what don't even land them the job. Like you need to proofread your resume and make sure it's error free. Like grammatical error is the key. Like some of the things that don't even get you to the interview. I just want to add that before we get to everybody else. Welcome to the show, Anna. Um, Richmond, you want to add why something you want to add to what Jimmy already said? What are some of the reasons people don't even like qualify? We're only focusing on qualified candidate tonight. Qualified candidate don't get the job. Why?
Yes, qualified candidates, some of them also don't get the job because a lot of times, even though they have that experience in their resume, like Jimmy said, sometimes they don't focus on the description, that is the job description, because whether you like it or not, especially in engineering field, they use AI. Bowen is very, very good at that. They use AI as a way of filtering their resumes. So you can be qualified for a job, you might have all that experience, but the computer system will not pick your resume because of keywords. There has to be a certain equivalent of keywords in your resume for it to even pass the first layer and get to the hands of the interviewer. But also, even after you've passed all that system and then you get to the interview room, lots of them fail to know what it truly means when they say, tell me about yourself. Many of them, that is pretty much where they already messed up. First impression is always key. When they tell you, tell me about yourself, they're not asking you to tell them your whole life history and how you came about, or your mommy and your daddy and your auntie and family members. They don't need to know all those details. They want to know key informations that makes you the best candidate for their job. You could have worked elsewhere, like me now I've worked as an engineer. I worked as a project engineer in Bowen, and now I'm going to be working as a project manager slash mechanical engineering management person in a bus plant that is industrial. The two of them do not correlate with one another. So if I want to explain that now, I have to figure out how to mix up the informations and make the experience that I've had in Bowen correlate with that is taking place in the bus plant. And all that information is going to start, if I can answer that question of tell me about yourself, I have to be able to relate those things, of which the common thing in there is manufacturing and fabrication. So if I tell them that now, that was what ended up landing me the job, because at least I was able to relate those informations. But people mess up on that. The very moment you mess up on that, you've already spoiled the rest of it. But also, like I said, sometimes people don't know how to structure their questions in the STAR method. When they are asking you a question, even though you're qualified, if you cannot answer your question in the STAR method that shows exactly how you came about, what the situation was that took place, how exactly did you tackle that particular situation, what exactly was the action? So the task, the situation, the task, the action that takes place, and the result. If you don't know how to answer those questions, the interviewer is not really going to take initiative because it's going to feel like you really don't know. So you got to prep yourself. And a lot of times people don't prep themselves. They feel like they know all the information and then they come in on the interview day and try to interview. No, you're going to pretty much screw yourself over. They always tell you before you even come to an interview, take 1 or 2 days, look at the mirror and question yourself or give that to somebody else and let the person quiz you. But a lot of times we don't do that. And that leads to us failing, even though we are qualified. But also, don't make yourself overqualified because a lot of times they will see a job description that says they need this amount of years, and then so many of them will go and throw huge numbers in there. Come on now. The very moment you get to the interviewer's front, the interviewer is going to know because the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, your leadership skills, your composure will tell them how many years you've really been in that job and your background. But people mess up on that without even thinking twice. So those are some of the basic things that I've noticed, and that's because I myself I made that mistake. So that's why I could understand that, yeah, those are part of it. But also that resume thing, you got to know how to structure your resume because you can have other experience, but if you don't go and update your resume, which now I just found out the new format is something called an AIS. I didn't even know that that was a resume format. I was still using old formats until now the system automatically starts to tell me they need you because I put it on LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn recruiters was telling me that my resume is not up to format, that I should go and format it. After I've already spent $200 paying somebody to create my resume for me.
You better pay me. Let me do it for you. What?
I was angry when I saw that. I was like, resume format has changed as well again. Yes,
It does.
it
It's
happens.
changed every I think 6 to a year. So you have to stay relevant. And that I'm glad you're on LinkedIn because LinkedIn will keep you updated. Thank you so much for that. Anna, do you want to add anything why qualified candidate don't make it through the interview to get that job? That was some good information. Good information. You guys are, oh my God. Nice. It looks like Anna is a little bit busy right now. So I'm going to give you guys just to add to it. Like I know you guys focus on the resume. I'm gonna focus on the individual. So on structure, answer. Like the way you answer the question, like Richmond, I'm glad you said that. People will put like 10 years. The way you talk about something that you've been doing for 10 years is a two different thing from when you've been doing it for 6 months. Like that is easy to pick out. Also, another thing, speaking in generous term instead of being specific. Like if the interviewer is asking you to tell me about yourself, which Richmond brought up, right? If they're asking you to tell you about themselves, like he said, they're not asking you how many children you have, who they are. I can tell you guys, somebody told me this. Somebody told me this. I asked them, tell me about yourself. Somebody told me this, and I was like, huh? What? They were literally telling me about how many children they have, how long they've been in the US. And I'm like, I don't really care, but I listened. But I already knew like you don't know what you're talking about. But when you're asked that question, is basically trying to understand your experience, your skills, career goal, how it aligns specifically with the role that you apply for, like that position. That's what that means. And then the other thing that I'm gonna add, emotional respond instead of answering in a professional frame. Like, don't be emotional. Don't add how your dog died. Like, nobody cares. Just get to the point. And most of the time, interview a structure for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And most of the time, the interviewer is trying to cut that up probably by 45 minutes and be done and go on to the next one. Especially like my interview days, usually I have like on Thursday, I have 10 people to interview. And if a person is taking too long, I try to cut them off because I have other people lined up and I've only called out 30 minutes for each individual to talk to them. So instead of you speaking out of emotion, like be specific and professional, not connecting past experience to job description. Like if you how what makes you think what you did last time is the same? Who has time to train you from scratch? Like nobody, they'll tell you training is provided, but guess who's gonna train you? Your peers. Like they'll train you, you're learning the computer, but you're going to do practical training with somebody who's on the job. And they need you to already know and have the concept and align to that. So definitely please connect it. That's why it's good to practice before you go for the job. Also, like everybody else said, not preparing in advance. And one thing I'm going to add that I didn't add to my list is not asking follow-up questions. Like it is key for me when I interview people. I expect you to ask me interview questions. Like I need you to ask me a follow-up question towards the end. One, your question for me, what I look for when I'm interviewing people is how are you going to fit in our culture here? Like what question? That's how I know you're interested in the role, right? Like how do you fit in the culture? Secondly, the second question that I expect somebody to ask is growth. Like are you just going to come here and just be here? Like do you have the potential to grow? Are you interested in moving up? That tells me how motivated you will be for the job. And then the last but not least I'll add is asking question about how your performance is measured. Because if you don't ask that question, that means you're just coming, I'm just adding a body. I mean, it's not 100% that mean I'm adding a body, but that means you're not really caring about the outcome of the role. So that's what most interviewer will ask. And talking too much. Be brief, get to the point, answer the question, stop like jumping in the rabbit hole. Like most interviewer will create a rabbit hole for you to fall into it. Don't fall into it. Be brief and just get out of the rabbit hole. That's what I'll add to that.
These are some great contributions, guys. A lot of
Mhm.
time people don't think about all these things before they go into an interview. So I think that all of you guys have some very positive and insightful contributions for interview prep and job scoring a job.
Yeah, and please do not ever, right at the beginning, go and start asking your interviewer about this thing salary, because
Oh
that's the
yeah.
even if they ask you, what salary range are you willing to go for, bounce the question back to them and ask them, what exactly is the range? Let the interviewer be the one that will give you the range, because that would help you. A lot of times people make the mistake. You are basically shooting yourself in the foot, because if your interviewer planned on paying you 100K and then you went and said your range you're looking for is 70K, well, you just shot yourself in the foot. Or if he was planning on paying you 90K and you went and said 120, well, that's another thing. You end up losing the job there. So make sure that you bounce the question back to them. Let them be the ones that will now give you the range. And even when they give you that range, don't even give them a figure. Just tell them, okay, that is okay, fine. That was the range I was going for anyway. So that is perfectly fine with me. And then when they now give you
I
the
think I
offer,
think
that's where you should
Richard,
now negotiate.
I'm sorry to cut you off. If they give you a range, you can say you're okay with the range, but you're also open for discussion. That's very
Right.
important.
That's
Yeah,
what
Don't
that's
say
like I was
that is
you're
about to
okay
say
okay.
with it.
that.
It sounds like
Yeah, the open for discussion. That's what I mean. You will do that when the offer comes in. When they give you the offer, then that's when
Yeah,
you will now discuss
but you
it.
cannot
Not
tell them
at
your
the point.
you cannot tell them that that range is fine when you've, and then when they give you a
They
range,
haven't even
that's the,
interviewed you yet.
yes, and then
Yeah.
you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think the best response is to say you can ask about the range and say what's the range, and then you could say that's fine, but you're also open for discussion. You know.
Right. So one thing I will also add is if an interviewer is asking you that in the beginning, that means during your application, you already post something there and they want to clarify before wasting their time and already trying to make that decision in their head. So for me, what I would tell you, my best advice would be you would just tell them I appreciate that you're asking that. I would definitely love to be compensated for the work that I will be doing. I would love to hear more about the position and if they align with my, with my experience and skill set, and then we can later on discuss and discuss salaries. But I wouldn't want you to say it upfront because when you apply, some job already ask you for a range in the application. 9 times out of 10 people already put it there. It's kind of like a tracker. What I always tell people, when you look at the job posting, look at the range and always put the range. And if some application do not do range, you have to put it there. So when they say 50 to 60,000, put 60,000, because 9 times out of 10 that job pays 60,000. They're just trying to range to see how little they can bid you for. So in the interview the start of it, if they straight out ask you, they're trying to figure out in their head to get rid of you. So just give that answer that I just said. I appreciate you talking about that, but I would love to hear more about what I would be doing if given the opportunity. And then also, we can discuss salary. I'm open to discussion, like Anna said. But if you start giving range in the beginning, you're already done. You're out. 9 times out of 10, you're out.
Yeah, also, I'll contradict with
Um,
that saying they should put 60. The reason why I would not do that, and I've noticed it, is because some of these employers, they give you that range, but also they base it off the level. So if you go and if you put that range at the highest, sometimes it might also bounce back on you. Because remember, they're going to do it based off matrix, and they're also going to do promotion in between. Bowen,
I
for
agree.
example,
I agree
a
with
range
you,
of
Richmond.
3.5.
I agree with you, but also that is why you need to research what is the median salary rate in your community, in your state, like
Exactly.
in your county, because there is an average there. So if you know the average is closer to that, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, if I'm telling you the pay is between 50 to 70, it's either close to 70 or 70,000 they're paying for that, because they're trying to see how easy they can bid in the middle. And then when you get there, the interview will also, if they're asking you about your salary and say, oh, I noticed that you put 70, is that the salary you're comfortable with? Then that's why being attentive in an interview is very key. Like I said, people do not wear the value. When you walk into that room, you need to be very attentive because you have to read body language. You need to be like a detective because you need to know, one, how are they even looking at you walking in? Because some people look at you like, yeah, no, they don't fit in my company. Like, so you need to be aware of that, of your environment. So once they strictly ask you that question, they're already looking for a way to get rid of you, or they're thinking, okay, well, she beta low, maybe we
Oh,
could
who
take
is
that,
talking? Maya, go
you
back to
know.
daddy.
Oh,
um,
and I was gonna mute you. Yeah, go ahead.
let me say this.
Hmm.
At any interview where you become um where they ask you how much will you love to be paid, or what is your expectation of salary? Just know that your performance did not meet their requirement most of the time. But in the case also, if you are very sure of yourself that you responded to their questions very well, the best answer to give is, like Fee said, I want to know more about, the responsibility attached to this role. And if there are other benefits that also come, I would love to know. So always divert that particular aspect and send it back to them. Let them be the one to give you more information, because the information that they provide to you helps you, to counter their questions. You see, I call it either help you to counter their offer at the end, or it helps you to build up your own, I call it way of negotiating with them. Okay, that how much do we pay you is a setup. It's a setup. I call it question, because they want to know whether you are coming in for the money, or you really want to come and do the work. Okay, so you always divert them to the job. What does this role entails? Yeah. And I would like to know more about the role. Let them be the one to tell you the things that you already want to know about the role before you get there. Because I call it, like Fee said, most of the time they be hiring for I call it, they have a benchmark. Like if they are paying 80,000 for that role, they're going to advertise it for 60,000. And you see, so if you going there, if you going there and you just want to hear about the 60,000, I call it, you setting yourself up for failure. Tell them to tell you more about the role, or another way you can answer that question is, in the industry, there are certain, range that is offered in this position. Okay, but don't call an amount. Say between this and that is what is being offered as per the qualification and the role. And you see, then you leave them with a bone to chew. Even after you leave, they will now be thinking, I think the person know more about, how much this role, should be paid, or, how much should be paid for this role, article and all of that. But don't be
Yeah.
fast to talk about the money. Don't be
Or
fast to talk about the money.
just repeat
And
what they put in the listing. Just say, "Oh, I'm comfortable with what the range said," But the only reason I said that is because Richmond said they will ask you in the beginning. If they ask you before they even ask you questions,
No. Okay, sorry. I don't mean they're not going to ask you right at the beginning. The beginning is always going to be tell me about yourself. I'm talking
Right.
about if they ask you like towards the end, because multiple interviewers have tried to ask me that same question and I never
Yeah.
give them an answer. Instead, I just told them, I asked them what exactly is the
and
range. And then they mentioned
I,
it to me, and I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't even give them an amount because
I
I'm not
have
gonna.
an online meeting to run to. I have an
Oh, okay.
online meeting to run to, but I want to say this about that. Tell me about yourself question
Yeah.
that
Go ahead. Go
always
ahead.
come at the beginning of the interview. And that tell me about yourself. It's not a question that requires you to tell them your biography. Okay, so let's break the self down. I will leave you with one to think about. When we come back tomorrow for the part 2, I will give it to you if you do not find it. Number 1, tell me about yourself. Self, SELF. This
I want to say it now.
the S is for strength.
Mm.
What is your strength? That's how you respond to that question. What? Tell them what your strength is. SELF, strength. Then the next thing you want to tell them is your experience. SE, S for strength, E for experience, L for limit. Limit it to the profession. You know, limit your response to the profession. The F, I'll make you come for it tomorrow.
Come on, man. Telling people everything. Don't mean it.
No, I want her to come tomorrow. I want her to come tomorrow so that we can talk more about it. Yeah,
Jimmy setting you up that weekend part with on you.
yeah. So when they ask you, tell me about yourself. Okay, the way to respond to it is, they're asking you to tell them why they should hire you. That is it right there. That is the first thing. Even though sometimes later on they also ask you why we should hire you. But in that first, and in that first question, tell them why they should hire you. Okay, so you tell them about your strength. I am hardworking. I'm trustworthy. I am, I'm a good communicator. Blah 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 blah. Your experience. I have 5 years experience in this role. And what have you accomplished in that 5 years experience? What have you accomplished in that role? And limit it only to that particular, I call it, to the profession, to that profession.
90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Right.
90 seconds.
So, yes. So, we got more to talk about this, but unfortunately, I gotta go, and I will see you
All right.
guys
Thank you.
tomorrow.
No worries. Thank you so much, Jimmy. We
Mhm.
appreciate you. Jimmy don't want to give us the F and the rest of it. Come on now.
Come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. You will get an F.
You guys come tomorrow. Jimmy will give us
You get an F.
the F and the
Where's
last.
Royal Pro? I'm seeing no comment to that from Royal
I
Pro.
know Royal Test Pro busy tonight, man. I
Maybe the
don't
man
know.
preparing a sermon.
I hope
All
it's
right, guys.
okay.
All right,
All right.
Richmond,
Thank you so
Anna.
much, Jimmy.
I'll see you
Have
guys.
fun.
All
All
right.
right. All right. Thank you so much. So yeah, tell me about yourself. Like Jimmy said, he already gave you the gist and the juice. People, I think to answer that question, people, like you said, the STAR method is always the key, like situation, task, action, and result. That's what that STAR method, the is it an acronym or what is it called? The other day somebody was schooling me about acronym and abbreviation.
Yeah, that's the method that they use in asking questions. And at first, I
Yeah,
didn't know what the STAR method was, but this I had noticed that from like 3 interviews. They were saying,
yeah,
"Do I know the STAR method?" I was like, "What?"
yeah.
But
Yeah, so star method is pretty much the situation, task, action, and result. That's what star means. And basically what that falls under, keeping your answer under 90 seconds unless you're asked for more detail. Like, if you give. And one thing I want people to remember is when you set up your resume, that summary area, that is your tell me about yourself. I don't know if people know that. Your tab summary that says, I'm Felicia. Well, you're not saying Felicia, blah, blah, blah. You don't last my skills and experiences. That is your tell me about yourself. So if you're writing that and you're able to add to that, you have answered the question correctly, because if their top summary area of your resume, if it was able to go through and land you the interview, 9 times out of 10, your skill set, they're interested in that. So if you take your summary from up on your resume and you look at it, and based on this specific role you just applied for, you're able to summarize that and make it align with that and the company goals and value. You can also add their vision to it, that is part of your vision and things like that. You're able to word that properly and execute it in your tell me about yourself, where you're also leaving room for the interviewer to answer some question. Perfecto. Like, let's just say somebody asked me, I'm applying for a job as a, you guys give me a role. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm
Customer
applying for,
service rep.
yeah, customer service rep. I'm applying for it, and they say, tell me about yourself. We know the goal of that job is to make sure, what have I done in my past to make sure customers were satisfied and they're happy, because that is the reason I'm here for this interview. So when I'm answering my question, it has to align with something that I have done in my current role for patient or whatsoever, that I, let's just say there was an incident or something like that. Like, if you're able to add those difficult, when they ask you how did you handle customer complaint, where you can actually add it into it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview for this role. My name is, they already know your name. I have been working in customer service for over 10 years. And when I saw this opportunity with your organization, I was very much interested in it and wanted to, X, Y, and Z, because now you're adding why they choose you, because you just buttered them up when you saw the opportunity online. That's why I add that in there. I have worked as a customer service rep in X, Y, and Z. My role was very important because they need to know how important your role is. My role as X, Y, and Z, I handle customer complaints, customer satisfaction, review system on Google or whatever. You guys, I'm just putting this together. I don't know what the role entails. Ensuring that patient had a best experience before they leave. Whenever the patient was in or customer walked in, I greeted them with a smile. And, one thing that I really like about my role is that I can make everybody feels better, even if they're not happy with the situation, they end up leaving happy. So I just put that together, like, just to give you guys an example, because at the end of the day, then when I'm ending that statement, I'm going to tell the interviewer after I tell them about myself. It ended up, when the patient leaves, they're very satisfied. Now I do a follow-up question and say, what is something that is very important to your patient? You will say, now you make them answer a question, you're eating into your interview time, and it will cut it short. So when you answer the question, you want to end it with a little question, but because now you're showing you're interested in this role, but you're also interested in the people that they serve. So you ask a question back, and then that get the interviewer to answer a question. 9 times out of 10, they start rambling about fun things they do for their company. Guess what? You end up only answering 3 questions and your interview has been done. That's why a lot of people ask me. I always get interviewed when I go for the job. I get it. Is because the strategy is, when you ask me question, after I answer, I find out a lot of things about your organization. Now I'm going to use it. By the time I end my sentence, I'm asking you a question back. So that way you start answering me instead of me answering you. And then we can reroute back. So that's something that I will add to the tell me about you. So repeat the keywords and skill from job posting. And then you need to prepare at least 3 to 5 stories that can answer multiple questions. This is what watching video, going on the company website, reading about the company, learning about what they do, what influences they have, what the value systems are, what is their vision, and what is something currently they're working on. That's something that you may not know what they're currently working on, but you can tell, like if you were looking at a healthcare organization, like what is something that they're interested in. Jimmy is back.
Yeah,
Yay. Yeah,
the-
you can
I
give
was
us
going for
that.
the meeting, but the meeting got, it got what do you call it, postponed. It,
The people have you back. Thank God.
it, it got canceled. All
Now we
right.
get to hear the F.
Oh, okay. So let me go back. Tell me about yourself. The S is for your strength as it relate to the job description. What is your strength? The E is for your experience or education as it relates to the job description. The L limit it to your experience around the job description. And the F is how do you fit in this role? So you see, the SELF, the F is tell them how you fit in this role. You see, as long as you remember that SELF, tell me about yourself. You are telling them about your strength, your education, and experience. Always limit it to the job description and tell them how you fit in this role. That is how.
Jimmy, you froze. You froze. Oh man, he froze. All right. So I think is he back? Okay,
Yeah.
we're back.
So that is how to answer that question. Tell me about yourself. And if you answer it that way, because it is the first question that set the basis on how the rest of your interview is going to go. Because every other question that is going to come will fall right in that introduction. There is no way they will go outside and ask any question that will not fall in that particular, according that particular introduction. Because if later on they ask you, why do we hire you?
We're about to get to those questions.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
keeping eye contact is the key too. I know
yeah.
sometimes people get intimidated and they start looking up the ceiling, on the side, but on the other side, like doing all those fidgeting thing is so annoying. Like just sit, like you're having conversation with another adult. Like just sit
Maintain composure.
appropriately. Yeah, keep your composure. Stop fidgeting. Stop. Turn your phone off. First of all, that's rude. When you're being interviewed and your phone ringing back and forth, you gotta say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Before we get to the next question, I just want people to understand when you walk into that building, you need to be calm and act like you are not in a hurry rushing to your interview. Because when you enter and you're just like, yeah, I'm here for an interview. Like, even if it's not the person interviewing you, the people that are like the receptionist that's sitting you down when they go back there, yeah, your interview's here, they talk.
Oh, who kicked her out? Who kicked her out?
She probably kicked her own self out.
Yeah, so one thing is at an interview, take into consideration time. The interview is for example, the interview is for 12 p.m. 12 p.m. The best advice is to be there 15 minutes before that interview time. Be there by 11:45. Let them give you place to sit down. Get yourself adjusted in the environment. And then when you walk in the room, you know that many people fail the interview even before they enter the interview room. Yes. Many people fail the interview even before they enter the interview room. So let's say,
Are you guys there? I don't know what just happened.
you were entering the interview room. The interview room door is open. The interview room door is open, and somebody escorted you to the interview room. You see other people sitting in the interview room. Don't just walk in.
And sit down.
No, don't just walk in. Even though the door is open wide, the door is wide open. Don't just walk in, knock at the door. Call your,
We are millennials. We are Gen Z. We don't knock. We just enter.
call their attention to you, like, hey, the boss is here. Knock the door. Hi, may I come in? Let them
Jimmy.
welcome you in. Don't just walk on them. Let them invite you in. And then when you enter, speak and stand. Let them offer you the seat.
We're not asking. We're not waiting, Jimmy. What are you talking about? We Gen Z and we millennia. We walk in.
No,
We
no, no,
own
no,
the
no,
room.
no, 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 no. That doesn't give you a job.
I'm
Millennial
playing.
or
I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm joking.
Gens. I know. But you must tell them in your body language that even before you start asking me questions, I know what I'm here for. If they don't offer you a seat, don't sit down.
No, you can ask. May I have a seat? And they'll tell you yes. Like
Yeah.
I asked when I walked in, and then the interviewer. So I recently had an interview um outside of my scope because I was trying to test the water and did a really good job in the interview. It was a panel interview. That's why I told you I don't like panel interview. I'm annoyed with it.
Oh.
So I mean I did really well, but there was one thing, there was one person there. Those panel interview, you have to be able to keep eye contact with everyone. And of course, everything I do to people now, I'm trying to make sure that they don't do it to me. So I'm like keeping eye contact. So there was one person, oh, Anna, you're on twice. There was one person who told me, he was like, you have, what just happened? I don't know what just happened.
She just turned off one of her devices, I guess.
No, Jimmy is backstage. I'll try to bring him out. Oh, okay. Like I'm answering these questions and I literally know I aced it because everybody was there. But there was one thing that because I don't have an engineering background, so somebody cut onto that and said, as qualified as you are for this position, there's just one piece of it, the engineering side of it, that you don't have. And yes, we could teach you, but it's easier for us to have someone who has that background. And I was like, oh, darn it. I already knew they won't give me the offer. Once somebody tells you that, just know that, like, just count your loss. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I was going to be managing the team. But like, I don't know anything about, like their products and stuff like that. But I've managed to learn a lot about it before coming to the interview. So when it asked me a question, I aced all of it and they were very impressed. But the only part about it, he said, you're great and we love your experience, everything. I wish we had another role that really aligned with what it is you do. Um, my plan was to sit for their exam in 6 months because that's what the job said. Within 6 months, they can give you, you can go and sit for the exam and have the certification, but you can still work and manage them. But he was like, he cut them real fast. He was very sneaky and fast. So when you're in those interview panel ones, those are the tough one because it's not one person you're trying to convince. You're trying to convince the whole team, and if all of them, one person catch on one thing, that's it for you. And that was it for me. I didn't get that. I wasn't successful in that interview because there was that engineering side I don't have. And they wanted me to have it. And he said it would be easier if you have it, if we have somebody. He already told me. So I didn't have to think twice about me not getting the job offer. And I like how they actually reach out to me. Not a lot of people will do that, which made me feel like, okay, well, I really did well in this interview because the head manager called me on the phone before I got the email to let me know, like, hey, we already told you in the interview, you did really well. It's just that part of it. We really want that. That's really important. So we couldn't give you the offer. And I said, I appreciate you calling me. I already knew you guys wouldn't give me the offer. So when you have interview like that, that's something like you're not going to get. And it's very, very important for you to pay attention to that, those skills that they mentioned. So don't just feel empty headed and be like, oh, yeah, I got the job. No, you ain't got a job. But let's go to the next question. This question, I feel like a lot of people, even including myself, I'm still learning how to really master this question. What is your weakness? And I feel like it could be a good and it could be good and bad for you if you don't know how to answer it. You can like they will not hire you if you answer this question wrongly. Like, so
Okay.
how would you say somebody should answer this question?
Um, when an
I guess
interviewer
nobody
asks
is
you,
giving me room today. No
Oh,
problem.
oh, we forgot.
no, you
Anna,
had I didn't call it, you were attending to the children, so we
yeah,
didn't
we
want
were
to.
calling you. You didn't say anything, so we were just like, go ahead, Anna. Go ahead.
When it comes to questions with weaknesses, I believe that everyone has a weakness. So you could
Mm,
say, I know you can thank them for the opportunity to give you room to speak about the question. And then you could say, one thing I always say is, say you're an overachiever and sometimes saying no, or you're a perfectionist. Those are the big ones that I use. You can either say you're a perfectionist and sometimes you're hard on yourself, but you've learned to work through that situation by giving an action plan and the result. So stating the issue and then talking about what strategy you use to, so you give the situation, the strategy, and how you overcame it and what was the result. So I'll give you, go and tell you that. I'll give you guys an example. So for someone that is a perfectionist, you always want to make sure that everything is right. And sometimes when you work with people from different backgrounds, it is difficult to please everyone. It's difficult to get the the results that you the results done the way you want to be. However, you've learned to accept people for who they are, their differences. Um, stop, go. Yes, I'm coming. I'm coming and clean the spider. Go. Bye. Sorry about that. Let me mute myself. You guys can go and then I'll take care of this spider first.
okay.
Now
Oh,
you see why we're letting you be.
it's
Um,
almost 11, so let's try though.
yeah.
We'll do these questions and then we'll do part two tomorrow. Yeah, I just
What
saw
is
the
your
time.
weakness? Or what are
Mhm.
your weaknesses? The best way to respond to that question is respond to it in a way that you once had that weakness, but now you have you know, uh, dealt with it and you have moved on from that particular weakness. For
True.
example, I would say I use, you know, let me see what I can say. I used to have difficulty in making strong decisions, but now I have learned to trust my decisions more. And 9 out of 10, my decisions have been very perfect.
Nice. That's a good one. I like that.
See, so you stated a problem, you stated a weakness you have, and you also stated how you overcame that particular weakness. Okay.
Right.
If, or you could say, I used to have problem listening to others' view,
Mm.
but now I have become more receptive and accept views as, as feedback. And then you can continue to say, I've learned to work on those feedbacks to make me better and to build a team.
How did you
See?
learn? So if
Huh?
I'm interviewing you, I'm asking you, how did you learn to work? Like, what are those things you use to learn? Like, how?
Okay, so if you are somebody who don't take other people's view,
What steps did
now,
you take? Like, how are you engaging into that? Like,
now I have learned to be receptive. That means to listen to other people's view. You see, that is the solution. First, you never
okay,
used to listen to it, but now you have become receptive. That means you accept those uh, uh, uh those as a feedback, and you have realized that everybody on the team has a valuable can have a valuable suggestion that can help and grow the team. See,
good one,
so
good one.
you just have to you want to make
That's a good-
sure that you stick right to the question and not say more than what they ask you.
Yeah,
You did not go to an interview to talk more than the person who is interviewing you. Okay?
absolutely. Yeah,
You want to be smart to let them talk more so that you talk less. Because sometimes when you talk too much, you can make a lot of mistakes. So you want to be very precise with your answer, to the question, and let them have the rest to deal with it.
true. Thank you. Let's hear from Richmond real quick. Let's try to speed it up a little bit, guys.
Yeah, Jimmy and Anna have pretty much addressed the points that I was gonna state
Yeah,
pertaining to that weakness because no matter what, it's always better to use kind of like the star method or the car
yeah,
method to answer the question because the interviewer really just wants to see that, okay, you identify that yes, you do have a weakness, but you were able to walk through it. That basically tells them how you can handle dealing with conflict and going through a lot of problems that takes place and how you would figure out how to overcome it. So it's something that
right.
everybody deals with on a daily basis. If you say you don't have a weakness, then that pretty much is going to
Answer
look
your
like
interview.
you. Yeah, it's
It's
That
a
pretty
is
much
red
going to
very
look
flag.
good.
like you really don't know what you're talking about. So,
It's a
Yeah.
it's already a red flag.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think for me, when I ask that question from my perspective, I'm just trying to see, are you easy to manage? Like, do you have things that I can manage? Because every team already have an issue. I'm not trying to bring more problems. And I will tell you guys, I made a mistake once at the hospital. There was a gentleman that I hire, and I felt like I kind of hire him out of sympathy. it's it's bad that I did that. I think I bought into his story of what he said. I guess he just caught me at the right time because my partner then she was like, "You never hire people out of emotion. How did that one slide through?" I was like, "I don't know. Maybe it was just the moment. It was just meant for him to come on." But anyways, he was at the hospital. He got treated there for like 6 months. He was in coma, and he made it through. So when he was part of our team where we took most of our people who survived to the hospital, we will have like this um the newspaper thing, like the local newspaper will put them in there and things like that. So when he came for the interview, I recognized him, and I think that really played into my emotions. And how he talked about his family struggling and all that. So that really caught me. And but he had a really good resume, and some of the answers were great. But when he came on board, he was a horrible employee. I had to fire him under 90 days. So but, but I'm just saying like that. Tell me about your weakness when he said something about how his outlook of life was prior to him being in a coma and then coming back. That really got me, and I buy into that emotion. But he was a horrible worker. I fired him within 30 days. He was gone. I don't play that game. In 30 days, he was gone. And then my partner was like, "It took you 30 days for your eyes to open, right? Now you're not emotional anymore." But yeah, another question that I feel like that is really difficult for people to answer is, tell me about a challenge at work. Like people don't know how to answer that question. What are some challenges at work that you face? I think when they're asking that, again, you have to use the STAR method, which, if you guys want to know what the STAR method is basically uh, um, talking about situation, task, action, and result. Like, how did you resolve it? So that's when you have that your story, you prepare and talked about how the story, what happened in the middle, what did you do, and X, Y, and Z, how it ended. Pretty much. Um, you guys want to add anything, contribute to that one?
Um, one of the challenges at work is working in an environment that is not uh cordial, that is not friendly. So now, if you grab that, you can use our story, tell them how you work in an environment that was not friendly and how you were able to turn things around,
Yeah, make an impact.
make an impact, you know? So it's almost like, because they want to know if there were problems at work, how will you respond to that problem? You know, how will you respond? So your role there is to state a problem that happened at work and how you resolve or help to resolve that particular problem. That is the intent of that question. Okay. And once you understand that, you will navigate that question with ease.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's it.
It looks like we're actually going to end this topic. Richmond, you want to add anything to that? It was very straightforward.
That's very straightforward. Jimmy has pretty much addressed it, and so have you. Just use the STAR method, and it saves you a lot of headache. Practicing in advance, because that's a generic question that gets asked practically in every single interview I've gone through. They've asked about my conflict. They've mentioned that, tell me about yourself. And they've also wanted to pretty much know about leadership skills and how you were able to communicate informations to a patient, a customer, a client. Those are the basic things.
True. And then I guess that brings us to our last question. Even though there are multiple questions, interviewers will definitely twist around, but these four top questions are like the key question that they ask. We talked earlier on, we talked about tell me about yourself. What is your weakness? Tell me about a challenge at work. And then the last one is why should we hire you? Why you? There's hundreds of people who apply for this job. We're interviewing 10 of them. Why should we pick you out of the 10? Why? So the only thing I'll add to that is when you stated you tell me about you, you already said why you should be hired. At this end is where you're trying to connect it now and highlight your key skills to this job and how you're going to make a difference for this company or that role. That is the key they're asking you. They already heard what your skills, things you can do, and that, right? Now they're trying for you to connect your skills directly to this position that you're coming for. One, what skill set are you bringing? Are you easy to train? Are you a team player? What value are you about to give to this team that they should bring you on? So how do you even fit in this in this organization? For me, what I will advise is when you have reviewed the job listing, is making sure you understand what the duties of those jobs are, summarize it, make it very nice and pleasant to the ear, and then end it with how your skill is going to how they are going to gain from your skill doing those jobs, and also add how you're also here to learn about other opportunity in the organization. I think that's the key to answering that question. I actually really like answering this question, why should we hire you? Because I feel like that's where I shine the most. I don't really like the tell me. Yeah, I don't really care about the tell me about you because I feel like I can already tell you. But what I've really practiced over the year is even if I mumble jumble in the middle, when that ending question come, which is my favorite, is why should we hire you? That's where I shine because I'm about to butter you up and make sure you feel like I'm the best thing since slice of bread. So I love that question.
I,
So
oh,
what?
I always tell people that that question is a promotional question,
Yeah.
and you should take advantage of it. Why should we hire you? Um, what I the last time I did job coaching with my school, I mean for my school, it was interview, prep for somebody. Um, and this is what I told them. When they ask you why should we hire you, in the first place, before you submit your application or before submitting an application, make sure you read a job description and read a little bit about the company, you know, about the company, know what they are involved with, know what, they can do, and blend it up with your experience and let them know that you are best fit for this job because it matches your experience and you have on hand-on experience and you can come in right away and begin to effect change. Let them know that you are the guru in this area. You are the boss. You have been in this place and you know how it operates. You can come here and start to make change right away, because employers don't want to spend too much training, I call it on training people. They don't want to waste too much time on training people in a particular role. You see? So they want somebody who can come in quick and adapt, because there are keywords you should use also in there. Say, because I'm adaptable, I'm eager to learn, I'm a fast learner, I have the experience in this place, and I can come in and begin to make necessary positive change in this area. So put those together and blast them with it.
And yeah, absolutely. One thing, make sure you have references that can actually vouch for you in those sense, because
Mhm.
most healthcare industry, when they're hiring you, before they even send you that offer letter, they ask you to send your references.
Your
And
references, yes.
when they call your references, that buttercup don't match.
Yeah.
Uh, for me, when I end that sentence, I will tell you my track record tells you everything about myself. So if I give you my references, they will tell you everything that I'm telling you right now. They will tell you that and more, and that really get them excited.
And fee. One last place just before we go.
Hmm.
Should we contact your current employer?
Yeah.
That question is a setup. It's a setup.
If
It's
you
a
left on a
big
bad note,
it's a big setup. Tell them no. No.
why? Why?
Yeah,
The answer,
why?
why? The answer is easy. Look. The way you answer that question is this. I would love I would love them to hear it from myself, because I have a very good working relationship with them. It will not be good for them to hear it from outside. So for ethical and professional reason, it would be good for me to sit down with them and tell them myself.
So let me tell you, if I was interviewing you, that's a red flag for me.
No, it's not. You are only, how to call it, you are only telling them that even though you are leaving, but you still value your relationship with them, it will be good for them to hear it from you
Well, I get where
than
you're
hear it
going
from
with
your
that.
employer.
I get it.
Listen,
I get where you're saying, um unless your employer don't know that you're looking. But for me, I will think if you've worked somewhere for over 10 years and you're planning on, like looking, somebody that you value, like a leadership person at the job, should be aware that you're open to opportunities. If they're aware, it shouldn't be a big thing, but I think that's a red flag for companies,
no, it's
because
not.
I'm just telling you,
No,
plain blank for
no,
me.
Yeah,
it's not.
I do think it's a red flag. But if you're telling me that, then that means you have
Yeah,
something to hide. That's why you don't want me to contact your
No,
previous employer.
right. It
no,
is.
no. You see,
I
I
think the
understand where
best
you're
way
coming from.
to I think the
I,
best way to answer it honestly is, I wouldn't you mind contacting them, but I actually just started looking, and I wouldn't mind letting them know that I'm open for opportunity. But when you straight out say no, then it's like, what are you hiding? How long have you even been in this role you're leaving? Like, you open it up for so many, like, it's such an objective answer that you're just kind of like, I'm just thinking about a whole lot of things, like, huh? Why not?
I
What are
understand.
you
I
hiding?
understand. But in the end, you are still saying, don't contact them.
No,
Let
I
me
said I
contact them
wouldn't mind.
myself.
I said, yeah, sure, I wouldn't mind you contacting
But,
them, but actually,
but,
um
uh
no, but it is. I'm saying, yeah, you can check with them. but I've just started looking and I haven't made decision yet on when I'm going to leave. So that alone tells me you just started looking, but you haven't made the decision yet. It's a good and a bad answer because one, that tells me too, like you
No,
haven't made up your mind you want to
I
leave
don't
your
think
role
you're,
too.
I don't think you understand. I said they know, it's not you telling them straightforward no, but you are telling them in a way that you don't want them to contact them. Let them know that uh
No, but
because
when they're contacting them, they're not letting them know that they're hiring you. They're just trying to, they will call because I have called other people's job, not just
see,
asking, just verifying, do they work here and what role do they play? Because people lie on their resume all the time. So those are the things. So when you tell me no, you're the one who's going to go tell them. I'm telling you, it's an objective answer, and you're just opening room for a lie. I wouldn't advise that.
no,
I would
the
say,
thing is this.
yes, yes, you can contact them, but I've just started looking. So I wouldn't mind you contacting them, but I just started looking. That just tells them you haven't even told them yet, but you don't mind them contacting them, which makes it's a two different thing. You saying no, I would like to let them know. They're not calling them to let them know that you interview. They're trying to verify if you work there. I don't know if
whatever
that
way the
makes sense.
answer is whatever way the answer is, whether you say you know um I I wouldn't mind, but you know you're still trying to say, don't contact them, but let myself do it, because once you use but, you are
No, you're
contradicting
saying
the
yes,
previous
yes.
answer.
You're saying yes, you can contact them, but I have just started looking, so that let the person know you haven't even discussed it with them yet, but you don't mind them calling them because when they call, when a job calls, they're not calling to find out. There's three things they're trying to find out. One, do you work there? Two, what role did you play? And how well were you with your job? And when
And
they're talking about they're looking
once
for
that
references.
once
Mhm.
they call your employer, and let them know. So what if you did not get the offer at the end?
They don't call until they're deciding to give you an offer letter. They never call.
Yes. If
They
they
never
call,
call until if they say, "Can we call you?" That means to me that's a sign that they're interested in you, but there's something there they need to verify that they're not getting clarity on. So they're asking you in there, but most of the time they won't ask you that. They're just asking for your references because whoever name you give, that's who they're gonna call. But these days, companies are calling jobs because one, people are lying about where they work and they never work there because they want the job. So most people will ask, is it okay if I call your current employer? And you say yes, then they ask for the phone number. So sometimes they don't even call, they just want to make sure the name that you provided on your resume matches that phone number that you give. Because people lie.
most of
I've
the
done it.
time,
Mhm.
people don't put company, information on their resume. They just
Oh,
put the
you put a
company name.
name.
They
Yeah.
just put the company name and the role that they play there. The
That's why you
people
put on
who,
your resume, Jimmy. But when you get into
the
the
people
interview, they
who,
ask you.
the people who, contact information that are very important are your references, and those are the people that they call directly. Most of the time, you know, they will not. They will not even ask you if we can contact your current employer. Whether they ask you or not, if they want to contact them, they will.
Yeah, but on your application, on the actual application you fill out, there is a spot there where you have to put the company name, the address, and phone number. Or they put there who should like the manager contact information. They usually have that there. And you put that there. But if you're in the interview and they say, Can we contact? That's a good sign for you. You did really well in the interview and they're trying to move forward. But I'm telling you that answer, if you say no, you leave room for a whole lot of things. It's best you just say yes.
No.
It's good you say yes. I'm telling you, say yes. But I've just started looking at and searching out opportunities. So they may not be aware that I'm looking. So they know that you just started looking and you haven't discussed that. You just open up for opportunity. But if you say no, I would like to be the one to let them know. That's a red flag. I'm telling you.
Well, it depends how you answer it. You know,
True.
it depends. It depends how you how you call it. You get your justification, but what whether
Okay.
or not whether or not you say no or you say yes, if they want to contact them, they will.
True. Yeah.
Hmm.
But they just
You know.
ask to get your reaction.
Yeah, I think it's just a trick question. It's not as if they
Yeah.
really want to contact your previous employer. They just want to see, because if you tell them no, then it will make them feel as if you did something at your previous job that is causing you not to want them to call. So as a
Yeah.
result, if they ask me, I just say,
Yeah.
yes, sure, you can contact them because I already gave you the reference in the first place. I've already put the phone number there. So no matter what, whether I say yes or no, you will still call. So I will instead tell you yes, and that will make you believe me that I'm actually being sincere, and you're not even going to call because you will trust me at that point. But if I say
Yeah.
no, you're going to feel like I'm hiding something. So you're
You're
going to want
hiding
to call.
something. Yeah. Why do you want to tell them? You're applying to me. I'm trying to check.
Exactly.
And now you're telling me no? Why?
Besides, your previous employer is not even going to care if you applied for a new job because no matter what, you're trying to grow. So if where
Hmm.
you are at, you don't have the opportunity to grow and you choose to go grow somewhere else, they're just going to support you to get there. And they will tell you whenever, if you feel like you want to come back, they will even help you come back into the company and apply for a better role if need be.
Richmond, that's if you're a good employee. If not, we're ready to kick you out. Go. Don't come back here.
I don't even think, yeah,
I
exactly.
see y'all, man.
If you did
The
good, they're
time
not going to want to kick you
time
out
is
now.
fast spent.
We'll be like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's me.
Good night, guys.
I go to my office and be excited and be like, yes, another one out. Who do I interview? I think we can close this though, because the only part that's left is mindset. So mindset shift is basically interviews are two-way evaluation. It's not one-way street. You and the interview, you still play a role. They want you. If you really are valuable, they want you. And if you're not, they don't want you. So don't see it like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. No, go in there confident, get it done, get your job, and get your money. Okay. And then the other thing is confidence comes from preparation, not personality. So if you're not prepared and you don't know nothing about the organization, I always tell people this: fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. If you're not an intellectual person, it's hard for you to fake it. Because if you walked in and you forgot and you didn't prepare for the job and they're telling you about that organization, you need to use contact clues and you need to start figuring something out in your head to butter them up so they can like you. Like, if let's just say you're a Christian and they say our value system align with Christianity, you better start creating something in your head to make that person that's interviewing you excited because sister girl, they want somebody who's a Christian. The other one is you're not bragging when you describe your accomplishment clearly. Brag all you want because you earn it and that's what you've done. So people usually think like, oh, I don't want to brag too much. I wanted to think like I know too much. No, you know too much about what you're about to do. So you need to talk about it. Talk about it. Keep it in context. Employers want clarity, not perfection. So they don't want you to be perfect. They want you to be clear about stuff. I think we'll just end this topic because it's like we're already done. Practical preparation, review the job posting and match your skills to their list. Practice out loud, not in your head. Talk to somebody about it. To me, what I do, I be in my bathroom in the mirror talking to myself all night. Record simple answer and correct filler words or rambling. Stop rambling. Don't try to sound like you're the next, you know, Einstein. No, say what you know and know what you mean. Like, just say it. Don't sit there and try to overthink it and oversweat it. Prepare questions for the interviewer. That is the key. If you don't ask questions, it's like you were never interested in it. I'm the only one interested in you. Interviewers want to feel like you're interested in knowing what they think too. So even if you don't have any question prepared, the best thing you always ask, how long you been in this at this organization? And why did you choose to stay so long? If they tell you how long they've been there, and then what is one advice you can give to someone like me who, if I'm given the opportunity to come in, what is one of the best advice you can give me to make sure I grow and nurture myself in this role and be one of the top players? That's a good question to ask your interviewer if you didn't prepare anything. That's easy. How long you been here? Oh, I've been here over 15 years. Wow, that's a long time. That tells a lot about your dedication and stuff. Butter them up. What makes you think what kept you long in your role? And when what kept you long here? Like what is something that you enjoy that kept you here that long? Ask something along that line, but always ask a question. Don't leave without asking question. And if you even want to make it juicy, if it is your last step into the interview question, ask them, what is one? So ask this question for someone who is successful in getting this job. What is something that you expected them to say in this interview? Ask that question. Ask that question. Whoever is successful in getting this role, what is one thing you will say that they did correctly in it? Like, that's you getting real time feedback from how you did, but you ask indirectly. Like, someone who's been successful in this process, what is something that they said that resonated well with you? Like, put it in your own words. Ask that question. Okay. And then last but not least, arrive with clear example of value and results. That's it. So Richmond, what do you want to add so we can close? Those are my tips.
Yeah, so you practically said a lot of it. Always ask questions. For me, the questions that I usually ask at the very end is I like to know what the work-life balance is like. Because no matter what, if the work-life balance is crappy, be rest assured you will not even want to stay there for too long. But
True.
then I also ask them, what exactly made you want to interview me?
Ooh, good
For me,
one.
basically asking them that question is because it causes them to have to go back and think and then mention what exactly they saw in my resume that drew them to even want to interview me in the first place. I've tried
Yeah.
asking them how they felt the interview went, but a lot of
Yeah.
times they don't answer it, and the reason being is because the person that interviews you is not even the one that is hiring you. I've
Right.
noticed it in 3 interviews that I've done. When I called to do a follow-up with them, I end up finding out that they were not even the ones that I was going to be working with. It was somebody completely different that never even showed up to the interview. So you got to be
Yeah.
super careful about that. But also, after the interview, which is something that a lot of us fail to do, make sure you send a follow-up email
Emails.
telling
Yes.
them
Yes.
thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Yes.
Because
That's a thing.
I've made that mistake on multiple occasions where I forget to send a follow-up email saying thank you to them, because that just basically shows that you are interested and you're willing to, you at least took the initiative to thank them. Some of them
Yeah,
read it.
try to do it between
Sometimes.
24 to 48 hours. Like, don't wait
Yeah.
too long. 24 to 48 hours, send a thank you email. Yes, that's the key. Good one. Good
Yeah.
catch there. Good
Yeah.
one.
So a lot of times that happens. And it actually took my friend to remind me, because I definitely forgot. And if I did that, I know fully well I would have done pretty well in the
Yeah.
interview. And I know that
Yeah.
star format is the one that really gets people, and they
Hmm.
tell me about yourself. Unfortunately, I've
Yeah.
made that mistake of my tell me about yourself has been longer than 90 seconds. But now
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretty much work on
Yeah.
downgrading it, but
Like,
also
write it down. And you guys, AI can help you though. If you put your resume in there, AI, you put it in, tell AI, I want a 90-second tell me about yourself. And it will tell you. You can practice it. Like, practice
Mhm.
that thing. Put in your own word. Hey, we got everything easy for us. Why should we stress our head? Write it down, make it
So
nice, read it, recite it, because they're gonna ask you that question. So
yeah, just make sure
it's
that you
like
know
the
exactly.
introduction.
Yeah,
Is
also
the
make sure that you know exactly what is being read, because sometimes AI can write something for you, and if you didn't read it and you feel like you just want to read it out, then you're gonna screw yourself over. And another
Yeah,
thing that
that's the
people have
thing.
made a mistake.
That's the thing I noticed. People, what you put in AI is gonna spit out something, but you need to read it and paraphrase it. That's what
Mhm.
people don't understand. And AI just set it up for you, and then you have to go through, sift it up, and it gives you idea of how you're supposed to write it, and then make it in your word, like make it something good. That's the only thing I would say. Like, stop, don't be using words that you will not use on a regular basis. You go there talking about something and it's like, oh, you said that and you don't even know what the words mean. Please. If you're gonna put it in there, know how to use AI tools. Like, learn it. It's
Yeah,
helpful.
and so when you're doing the interview, do not use AI to try and answer the questions when doing the interviews. I've seen people
Yeah.
do that, and that is the dumbest mistake that they've ever done, because the interviewer, even though they're not seeing your face, they can pretty much tell
You're
when
reading.
you are using it. Yeah, they can tell when you're reading it, because there is a certain pause that you're going to do in there that you never really realize. They can
Yeah.
tell, because I've had multiple people do that in their interviews. They've literally had their phone getting the answer. They had ChatGPT or that.
What?
Yeah, they've had ChatGPT on, and they've also had this other one called Microsoft Copilot on during
Oh,
the
I didn't know there
interview.
was one called Microsoft Copilot.
Yeah, that would take the this to take the question and then to spit out an answer right on the spot, and then these guys will be reading.
Ah.
And then guess what? At the end, sure, the guy got the interview part, but when he came to the job, he doesn't even know a single thing about the aircraft. And now he's literally suffering there. So those are things that make sure you know exactly what you're talking about, because eventually you are only going to get 90 days probational period. So if you don't know squat, you're going to be screwed. So be
Or
ready.
if you really want to get into that, like, do the research, learn about it, and continually learning about it, how to do it. There's tools around that helps you. Um, I just want to add to what you said earlier, right? About that question, like, how successful were you? People need to understand their stages of interview. So there's the recruitment side of it, where the recruiter call you over the phone. They just trying to put the voice with whatever and make sure it's not an AI human being, and check it out, make sure they can get information from you. Now after that, you go to the first interview. Most healthcare has like three set of interviews. So when you go to that first one, it's just they trying to make sure, put the face with the resume, make sure you pass it, and then you can get to the actual person that make the decision. when you get to that one interview, then they have the director and people that you're supposed to meet to make that final decision if they should hire you. Now it's to that decision where you can ask that question, because one, when the recruiter call you, the recruiter send a note over and let them know that, hey, I was able to find this, da, da, da. Are you okay for me to schedule? Then it went to the actual operational person who does it, and the person interview you, and the person like you and think you a fit for the team. And then now they send it all the way to the final step. And then in that final step, that's where HR, everybody's going to be present to interview you to make sure legally you're legal to work and you'll follow the HR policy as well. So healthcare is a very deep, way. I don't know. It depends. The side that I'm on is a long step, when they're about to hire you, how it works. So also make sure you know people who work there, because these is who you know. If you don't know no one, you go for that interview and you boo boo, the boo.
So, absolutely. At least I know in the engineering field, we only get one interview per se, unless you're using a recruiter. If you're using a contract position, then that's when you likely get a phone interview before you get the actual. But if it's direct hire, it's usually a one and done kind of
Oh,
interview.
that's good. I like that.
Yeah. So that's where
But
they
I'm
pretty
not
much
good with
get.
math, so engineering was never gonna ever fit me. I'm terrible with math.
Well, to be honest, even though a lot of people have gotten into engineering, and yet they don't even have no single knowledge about engineering. So the
Oh,
whole
wow.
point, you go to school to really learn how to learn. When you get there, a lot of the jobs, it's not everything engineering that is actually maths related. So many things like the project engineering that I was working on, it has engineering in there, but nothing really in there was per se engineering. It was more of a managerial thing where the engineers, they had specific engineers that were handling the engineering work, and they just passed on information to me. So
Oh,
just
wow.
because you see
Nice.
engineering doesn't mean you should be scared. Lots of times you can still apply for that position, and you'll be amazed that you can still get an engineering position without even being an engineer.
But the one that I applied, the hospital, shoe, they screwed me. They were like, shoot, she don't know nothing about engineering. How we gonna, I was like, whatever. But
It sounds like
later
you were going
on,
for a facility management position, facility engineering position.
huh?
I said it sounds like you were going for a facility engineering position or something
Yeah,
in public.
yeah, yeah. I was looking into that side, and then they were like, she don't know nothing about that. If we need to do this measuring and all that, how's she gonna do that? I'm like, hey, I can figure it out. They were like, no, the other guy, I think he was just like, she know way too much, but this one thing, let's use it against her.
I would have actually countered that if they told me that sometimes in most interviews that I've done, when they ask me, when they try to pretend like I don't know something, I literally tell them that the whole point of me going to school is really to learn how to learn. So when I come here, whether you like it or not, I can have the experience, but doesn't mean that it's gonna be the same way that you work your system. So as a
Right.
result, I would use the opportunity to learn as quickly as I can. I will self motivate and self learn the thing on my own to catch up to speed within a short period of time, so that way I can accomplish the mission. And they said, "Oh, okay, perfect. I
Trust
like."
me, I said all of that. That guy, he was just not buying it. He was just like, whatever, like screw that. But you know what? What I thought,
I
I
think he already
think,
had his person he wanted to get in. That's why he did that. Because
yeah,
sometimes they will do that. They already have somebody that they want for that role, so they will try
yeah.
to destroy everybody else to put in there.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's follow.
but another thing too, I find out they had another role that was coming up, and then they actually reached out to me that they wanted me for that position because they think my skill set aligned with it. But I was like, screw you guys, I don't want it. They called me so many times. Oh, we're so sorry it took us long to call. The panelists really liked you and they feel like this role will fit you well. First of all, I was like, how much? She's like, oh, between 80 and 120. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Thank you. I was like, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Like, no, you better work me like dog. And you trying to get me that paid? Heck no. Bye bye. But yeah, anyways, that was a really good show. I think we ended everything today. So we're not going to be having part two. Those of you who missed it today, you missed it. So in closing, I just want to leave you guys with this. But Richmond, give your closing so that way I can just give mine and then we call it a night.
I'm here too. I'm here
Oh,
too,
oh,
but
Anna, yes.
sorry,
I thought
my
I thought you were
baby.
gone.
No, my kids is they always wait when I'm on the phone or I'm doing something really important. That's when they have something that they need me to do.
It's all of us. Trust me, I was late on the show today, right?
Mm, 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 mm.
That's mommy's life. Yeah,
Sorry,
let's
guys.
just, I think we ended everything today. We're just
Mm-hmm.
gonna just leave people with something, I hope people have this information and it's helpful for them. I learned something too. I'm sure everybody else learned something as well. So,
Absolutely. I would end my closure as when you go for an interview, be yourself. Incorporate your personality. Don't be scared to show yourself. Don't be scared to be you because you never know if you're going through an interview with multiple people on the panel. You might get along more with one person, and that person can convince the others to hire you. So if you take away who being yourself, you may end up losing everyone. So I think overall, be yourself when you go for an interview. Come prepared. When I mean come prepared, make sure you read about the company. Make sure that you understand the job description, what skills are needed for it. Write down a few qualities from that job description that you felt resonated with you and that you feel matches who you are. And then another thing that I'll mention is that before you go, don't pre-plan any scenarios in your head. You should have an idea of certain things that happen because they can ask you a question, and if you had pre-planned your responses, it's not going to match the response to the question that they're asking you. However, it's good for you to know the scenarios in your head so that you know how best to elaborate it when you're giving a response in an interview. Lastly, make sure you dress well. You go on time, and then you smile and be confident when you're responding, and be straight and to the point when you're responding to the questions. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
thank you so much for that. That was good. That was good. This was a really good show. Jimmy picked a good topic. All right. Richmond, you ready to give your closing?
Yes, ma'am. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming on the show today. Like we said, we are not professionals, but at the end, we can give you our own feedback on what we think based off the interviews that we've done before. So I'm gonna say we should ensure that you pretty much come prepared. Prepare a day or two in advance just for you to already know. If possible, go and survey the area as well prior to, so that way you know exactly where you're gonna report to. And then ensure that you get to the location 15 minutes earlier, at least at maximum 15 minutes earlier than the scheduled time. So you can at least use the opportunity to waddle around, have some questions, 3 to 5 questions ready in advance that you're going to be able to ask and make sure those questions are directed towards, you can have one question directed towards the company, but also put a question that would pertain to you asking the interviewers directly how the job is. You want to know exactly what the day-to-day activity is like in the job, because that tells you exactly what kind of environment you're going to be getting into. It will also tell you if it's a team effort or if it's a solo effort. So that way you have a mindset on how you would need to come in. Another question that would be good to ask is to also is to ask them, what is their expectation of you within the first 90 days? Because that's your probational period. So you want to know exactly what is expected of you. And the interviewers will be willing to tell you that information. Also, ensure that you at least know the STAR method. We've given you that trick now. Go study how the STAR method is. Sure, you can practice some scenarios, but just know this. It's not always going to be the same because the interviewers always pick random questions. So you don't know what or how their questions are going to be directed. Because just like the rest of the panelists had questions that involved weakness, I did not have any questions like that in the period of time that I've been interviewing. So you can have multiple questions that comes up and you never know. Utilize AI, but at the same time, make sure that you proofread it. You can ask AI to give you multiple sample questions based off your resume, and then they will structure it. Ensure your resume is structured based off the job description. Each job you go for is going to be a different resume that you need to create for it. So that way it will match. Because if you're using a tracking system, AI tracking system, it will pick keywords in there that will pretty much decide if you get it or don't get it. So pay attention to those informations. Be ready. Ensure that you eat proper meal that day. Ensure that you're dressed properly. Ensure that you get water
get
to
enough
drink.
sleep.
Yeah, have a notepad with you. Have a copy of your resume. Have a notepad with you. A pen that, if possible, have 2 pens that is functional, because one can disappoint you and then the other one would save you. So at least that way, you can write the question down. Do not just answer as soon as the interviewer tells you the question. It's better to write it down and then think about it before giving a constructive response. That way, you don't mess up. Because I've done that on 2 or 3 interviews, and that eventually clicked in my head to know that I have to have it at all times. So wear comfortable shoes, dress up, groom properly, because appearance
Smell good. Don't come there smelling all musky.
smell good, because they will pay attention to that as well. Ensure,
Brush
even
your
if you're doing
teeth.
it on a computer,
Brush your teeth.
Yeah, eye contact is key too. Pay attention to that. Make sure you have good eye contact and hygiene. Do not have stinky breath. If possible, there's something called Listerine. Where is my own stuff? I don't even remember. My kids have taken my own mini Listerine. That is like a mouth spray. I use it occasionally, spray it, so that way my breath will smell minty fresh.
Don't go in there chewing gum in your mouth. Like, take that gum out, put it in the trash.
Yeah,
please.
don't chew gum. Instead, just have that minty fresh thing, spray it in your mouth prior to you entering. It will keep your mouth fresh for the next 1 hour plus to save yourself. So that way, because bad hygiene too would cause them to chase you. And so all those various things.
Don't wear heavy perfume. Heavy perfume.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That
Don't
would
give me
distract
headache.
them. You don't want to distract your interviewers, because, and also, like Ms. Fee said, when you are telling them about your self, also ask questions in there. Me, I did not think about that. If I knew, I would have probably excelled all the 20 interviews I've had. So now I'm going to start doing that. Those are lessons that I've learned, to ask them questions. So at least that way, I will bounce it back on them. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't work, because my own interviewers, they've had that specific 5 questions that they must ask.
Well, it depends on the field. It depends on your field too, so you have to weigh it out.
Yeah, because my interview was supposed to be 30 minutes interview, but yet they dragged it up to 1 hour and 30 minutes because they made sure that they asked those questions. So
Yeah.
you also gotta know your environment and know the interviewers, and then that way to tell you if it's ideal to ask the questions, even though it's still good, because that way, if they're talking, maybe they would eventually in their own self answer the question that they were about to ask you, and to give you an insight to be able to make it. Tell me about yourself. Make sure it doesn't go beyond that 90 seconds. I've made that mistake before. Mine reached up to 5 minutes because I was just talking. Now I've
Yeah,
learned.
90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Absolutely.
And if you can fit, because sometimes that tell me about you, you can answer it and answer most of those questions that they're going to ask already.
Mhm.
So in that 90-second, that's why I said prepare that your summary on your resume, look at it, because that's what got you into the interview. They read that headline and then they don't really be going through that. Your first summary on the top of your resume, that's an eye catcher. So once it's good and you
Absolutely.
are grammatically correct, like make sure you proofread it. There's no punctuation issue. That's also don't help you get interviews. So once you can do that and you can answer multiple questions and you discuss how you handle difficult issue in there. Sometimes the interviewer will just go, right, you kind of like answer some of these questions already. Yeah, that was my plan.
Yeah, and use proper vocabularies too. Don't go and be using slangs, please, because I've seen people do that. They're interviewing and using slangs. Uh-uh. Keep proper professional English. That will tell them that you're at least a
Yeah,
professional person. If you have to fake it, fake that professional English till you're done with the interview. Then you can go back to your
your
slang.
slang. I don't know. I don't know. Like sit up straight, be attentive, sit like you're sitting at the queen's table. That's what I like to say.
Absolutely, because that would save you. And then that way, everything would move smooth and you would eventually knock the interview. And pertaining to that money aspect, like we said, just bounce the question back to them. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times for that money aspect, I let them give me an offer before I start doing that negotiation and telling them what I really feel like taking.
Yeah, because
'Cause
it's a slippery slope and they're trying to get you on there. So if that's a job you really want, and my only one and only best advice. Thank you so much, Richmond. Thank you, Anna. My absolutely, I'll keep that for last. So like Richmond and Anna already said it all. My only closing, I'm gonna tell you, interview success is not a skill. I mean, it's a skill, not a luck. It's not, you know how people say good luck? No, it's not luck, it's skilled. So you need to learn it. There's a lot of millions of videos on YouTube. Make sure you utilize YouTube University. Like literally, that's what I call it, YouTube University. It helps you. You need to go to YouTube University. There's a lot of great things over there. If you have issue with your resume, like we're in 2025, we'll soon be in 2026. We don't know what's coming in the next world. So you guys be ready. Also, qualify people win interviews when they learn to tell their story with clarity and confidence. So there's a way you can tell me, well, I did well in my job, and there's a way you speak to me, and I know, yeah, this person got this. So if you're just talking to me and you're slouch, yeah, uh-huh. You're giving me one word because you say, oh yeah, they say I shouldn't talk too much. No, you trying to concise it, but it has to be good. My high school teacher used to say, give me all the meat. Don't give me fluff. Like give me meat. You know, when you buy fish that is not bony and it's just a lot of flesh, that's what you want, but it's a small little fish. That's what you want. You want a lot of flesh, but not too long. 90 minutes. I mean, 90 seconds. So if that means you're counting in your head, counting your head, but it has to be 90 seconds. Also, if you start seeing, you have to be attentive. If you start seeing the interviewers look constantly looking at their paper for the next question, it's time to wrap it up. Like you need to be attentive. You need to pay attention to the room. You need to be able to read people body language. You need to have people skills to understand that because some interviewer, like they're tired with their story and they will start penning on their paper and want to jump in. You can tell when somebody's trying to jump into your sentence. So that's a cue that you need to wrap it up and be done. Okay. Last but not least, but like I said, the least is it how you say that? I don't know how you say that.
Last but not least,
Yeah, last but not least, your resume gets you there, but only you are going to get the job. Your resume is or your CV is the introduction. They say, "Oh, I want to hear more." It's like a teaser. So make sure you match, preach, live what you preach, whatever that is. Preach, live what you preach. Don't just go there and be, dress appropriately. Women, if you're wearing makeup, don't be wearing all this makeup talking about we in 2025. Whatever. It's not a clown show. Like people want to know because if you work in healthcare, overpowering makeup would not work because makeup carries a lot of bacteria. People don't understand because you're going to be touching your face. You got to touch patient and all that. Know your industry, master your industry. And also, before you go for the interview, check Glassdoor. Learn what people are saying about the organization. I want people to utilize that. Go to Glassdoor, check the company out, what other people are saying. You're not going to follow what other people are saying, but you're going to be attentive in that interview and pay attention to cues that might lead you back to that. Because not all jobs that look good is good for you. So as much as you're trying for them to give you the job, you're also trying to get them to understand that you're the best thing since sliced of bread. So they need to know that you bring a lot of skills and value to the organization and that just what your resume and whatsoever that's there is enough. But they also need to know that you have value as well and you have some requests from them as an employee that will possibly get the job. So that's one thing I would say. That's all I got to say tonight. Go out there, you get that job, and send us some stars. It's late now, guys. That's why I'm gonna end it. That was a good ending, right? Get the job,
Yep.
subscribe, and send us some stars. Y'all so stingy on this platform.
you ended it, right? You didn't
They're
end
gonna
the
fight
show.
you.
How?
Did you end the show? You said you're live.
Yeah, we're done now. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Thank you to Jimmy. Thank you, our commenter, people who gonna watch later. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Richmond. Thank you for all the great information. This was really nice. You guys could have been paying for this, but you got it for free. Y'all better get that job and send us stars. We're gonna go backstage.